Like if you find yourself in a toxic narcissistic relationship, it kind of can feel like, you're in the narcissist Olympic game. And what you're going to find is boundary testing with a toxic person. It's like being in a game show where the rules are just completely made up. And boundaries are like invisible. Because what you're going to find, it's like anytime you try to draw a line or a boundary with a narcissist, it's just like they're just going to come in with just this giant eraser and just erase it away. And then once these relationships end, it's just like you think there'd be a clean break, but there rarely is. Because hoovering is another attempt at a blockbuster comeback. It's kind of like, hey, let's create a sequel. It's just filled like grand gestures and tearful trailers of redemption. It's like when they come at you and they're like, just it's like, baby, I've changed. It's just like, yeah, it's about as believable as a politician on the campaign trail, just sucking up for votes. And it's less about a sequel that you want to see, and it's more about them trying to create a box office smash out of your resolve, your ability to be happy and independent without them. Because in the narcissist's mind, it's just like hoovering is just more about, I miss us. And for a narcissist, it's like, you know what? I miss having my own little favorite toy that I could bend out of shape and manipulate and rip off apart. It's just limb from limb. It's like, you've had some time to grow your limbs back. I'm ready to rip them off again. It's like a kid. It's like in kindergarten, it's just ripping off the Barbie doll limbs. And then when the teacher puts them all back together again, there they go the next day wanting to do it again. And every time you greenlight a return of a narcissist back into your life, you might as well be greenlighting, Nightmare on Elm Street, part 27, 28, 29, 30. It's like, how many times do you take them back? That's how many Nightmare on Elm Streets you survive. And with each return of the narcissist, they just continue to up the ante further and further. And it's like they push your buttons that you didn't even know that you had. And sure, yeah, you may have forgiven a lot of narcissists last time, but let's see how far they can stretch your forgiveness this season, because this season's coming back. They're coming back for a sequel. No, there is no season two. There's a one season relationship. Is the seasons after like 6, 7, and 8, they just don't get better. And what we're finding is like standing up to a narcissist is like declaring independence in a dictatorship. Narcissists will always view any attempt at your autonomy as a rebellion to the moral fabric that needs to be quashed with every single boundary that you set. It's like, you're setting limits on me? Oh, that's so cute. Let me introduce you to something. It's called chaos. I'll bring in the chaos. It's like, what? Because if you set a boundary and a narcissist pushes back, it's like, you need that boundary. Fortify that one. When we're dealing with a narcissist, you need to like even create like a medieval castle kind of defense system around your soul, because these tactics that they use, it's modern psychological warfare. Where you get a chance to say, no, this is my moat. These are my dragons. Because at some point, it's just like drawing lines in the ground doesn't work anymore. It's about embedding them and then fortifying them and then having consequences afterwards. Otherwise, it's not really a boundary. It's like the second that you find that empowerment from, against all these narcissistic tactics, it's like discovering your very own ruby red slippers, and that they've given you the power to leave Oz the entire time. Now, just when you think these narcissistic relationships are over, and even you're lucky enough to get out of these relationships safely, it's just like it's not over. Narcissists have all these sorts of little tricks that they're hiding up their sleeves, and it'd be nice if there was all sunshine, rainbows, and happiness. It'd be nice if we can just kind of say, all right, we tried it, and let's just go our separate ways peacefully. And they might try the hoovering to get you back in. If that fails, guess what? It's just like the last thing they can do is smear your name and drag your whole reputation through the mud, because they've suffered a narcissistic injury, and it was because of you. And therefore, you must suffer the consequences of, upsetting the Grandmaster. Really? Okay. It's like, just when you think the credits are going to roll on this drama, it's just like they find out that, they've penned a sequel, and this is the smear campaign. And you're the unwilling participant that you never signed up for this. And dealing with a smear campaign is like discovering that you're starring in a real life horror film, and it's a flick that's just scripted by your arch nemesis. Pretending to be a rom-com playwright. Because this story started as a rom-com, and now with the smear campaign, it just shows you that it's nothing like that at all. In smear campaigns, there's no limit to what kind of tales that of all your flaws. It won't be broadcasted like it's a blockbuster billboard campaign, that's about to hit theaters. It's like, breaking news: you're now the town villain, according to Grapevine Daily. It's just like, it's horrible. And the smear campaigns, they don't stop with just simple defamation. Like, you might also find that there's going to be stalking and harassment, and it becomes like a narcissist's methods of ensuring that this twisted tale has an audience. And what they'll try to do is like turn your life into a reality show where privacy is like a premium that you can't afford anymore. Because every time you turn around, you're just hearing all these stories from the grapevine. It's like, tune in as we uncover the depths of this, imagined depravity that they created. hoping to turn public opinion into a jury of your own peer. And they love just pitting people against each other, for the narcissist who's just like orchestrating a battle royale. And everyone that's involved in the smear campaign, it's almost like, the narcissist goes around, it's like, choose your fighter, loyalty to me or allegiance to the accused, right? It's as if they try to turn your own allies into adversaries just like that overnight. And just through gossip and slander, it's just their tools of the trade for the narcissistic smear campaign. And they unleash, just contaminating, conversations with tales of just treachery while they're the ones that are the villain. And handling a narcissistic smear campaign is about anchoring yourself into the calm eye that's always in the center of the storm. It's like becoming the Zen master in the middle of all this chaos of people walking around in clown suits and making balloon animals, because what you're going to find is it's not going to be about the counterattack. It's about solidifying your stance in the quicksand of a narcissist's lies, just holding firm. So protect yourself from narcissistic smear campaign. We're document everything, each lie, each delusion, and just keep a paper trail, just leading back to this whole idiocracy that they've created. One day you'll be like Exhibit A. This is the truth. And it's collected from the evidence that I have just created, man, like a detective in a noir thriller. It's like that's the plot twist that becomes your validation. And there are going to be times where you may have to take legal action. That can be a viable strategy, but it's not a tactic that we can take lightly, and it's not one to take for revenge. But what it ends up being is one for boundary enforcement. It's just like this is the line you don't cross. It's where you say, turning their script into legal documentation, which just demands accountability. And no matter what people say about you, it doesn't diminish who you actually are. Because you're not just going to be a survivor of their fiction, you're going to be a hero of your own reality and a beacon of integrity in the midst of this fog of lies. Because your journey through the narcissistic smear campaign is not a path of retaliation, but one of just dignified resistance. Navigating out a narcissist's web of lies with just a compass of honesty. You will emerge, not tarnished by, their attempts to polish you up and take you out, but in owning the narrative after the fact. Because being in a position of power where your integrity holds true, it's just like the integrity will outlast all narcissistic illusion because they're such facade. And yeah, this month might be tough. The next month might be tough. The next year might be tough. But the whole thing is, it's just like looking back. It's just like the amount of effort it takes to smear someone constantly, and eventually it's like people stop listening to them because all they do is tarnish. And at some point, we just don't want to be around those people. And once they see that you're the kind of calm one, you're actually living a good, healthy life with good people around you. And obviously, it's just like then their credibility becomes into question. I do hope you found everything in this video really helpful. There are basically two steps in order to recovery. One is the cognitive part, and that's like watching videos like this and learning more about the disorder and all the little dysfunctions that happen in the background. And then the second part is more of the emotional part of recovery, which is the emotional integration. If you need more help with that, if you need more support with that, my name's Miles. If you're new to my feed, and I'm a hypnotherapist, and what I do is I help people just kind of calm their nervous system and make sense of kind of what seems to be senseless. But once we kind of make sense of everything, we get our lives back. If that's something that you're interested in, you can type in Narcovery Recovery, and I'll post a link to my recovery program. And thank you so much for watching, and watch out for more videos.